Thank you so much, Devi-san, for the introduction. My name is Eka, and I'm Strategic Planning Director at H3 in Indonesia. I will take you on a dive into the ASEAN Sei-katsu-sha who are into fandoms. And I will not be explaining this section alone. My friends Sanu, Sei-katsu-sha specialist, and Luis, an AI ethno-study specialist, will join me shortly. So, today we will share with you the triggers and the benefits of fandom, as well as the emotion that underpin them in ASEAN. In the opening, you have heard about fans and fandoms in ASEAN. Here are some important keywords that we will use during this presentation. We start with the definition of fandom according to HIL ASEAN. Passion and admiration towards someone or something that influence changes in a person's lifestyle and evoke a feeling of camaraderie with others that share the same interests. As you can see, passion, admiration play an important part, and also a feeling of camaraderie and common interests. The next keyword is fandom Sei-katsu-sha. These are the people who enjoy a fandom, a person who fits into the above definition of a fandom. Next, fandom subject. This is the focus of the fandom. Refers to the thing or person that fandom members are passionate about. And lastly, fandom community. Collections of people who make up a fandom. Size and characteristic vary from one fandom to another. And they may be organized as groups or may exist without even the knowledge of others. So you may wonder how we uncover all the findings that we are presenting today. Well, at HIL ASEAN, we are very curious people. And in order to satisfy our curiosity about ASEAN fandom, we conducted surveys in 6 ASEAN countries: Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and of course, Philippines. And we conducted not only one, but 2 studies. And this year, we did qualitative study first, and then the quantitative. Qualitative study looked deeper into the life as a fandom Sei-katsu-sha. And the quantitative study looked at the fandom Sei-katsu-sha on the broader context of fandom. And for respondents, we selected those who have been devoted for at least 6 months, had engaged in multiple fandom activities. With almost 5,000 samples in total, this is one of the most comprehensive study of fandom. And rank, the most passionately followed fandom subject in ASEAN during pandemic have been K-pop, games, and cooking, in that order. How about the top in each country? Do they have the same number 1 fandom? Well, as you can see, in the past 2 years, most countries have had different top fandom, such as manga and animation in Malaysia, video streaming in Singapore, games for Vietnam and Philippines, K-pop in Thailand, and cooking in Indonesia. My fellow countrymen do love their food, right? And then we met many different ASEAN fandom people during our studies, and all have their own unique fandom and stories to share with us. So, why our fandoms are growing in ASEAN? Staying at home or quarantining didn't turn ASEAN people into couch potatoes. On the contrary, they have been quite active. Keeping human connection alive is another reason. And as we can see in this data, boredom needed to be banished, and we wanted to connect with other people. So these are the top 2 triggers for ASEAN people joining a fandom. Now, what about their motivation for joining a fandom? Here are the big 3 motivations for joining a fandom: to make life exciting, to relieve stress, to kill time and boredom. Now let's compare this to the motivations in Japan. First, second, and third highest motivation are not so different between Japan and ASEAN. Let's see number 4. See the difference now? What is truly unique in ASEAN is that ASEAN fandom Sei-katsu-sha see connecting with others as an important factor for them joining a fandom. This is completely different from Japanese fandom Sei-katsu-sha. So we can say that the differences is one of reaching outwards versus enriching inwards. It is all about connecting with other people in ASEAN, and it's all about connecting with themselves in Japan. And to understand this more deeply, I will ask my colleague, who is an expert in Sei-katsu-sha, to explain more about the benefit of fandom for fandom ASEAN people. Sanu, would you care to explain more?
Thank you very much, Eka. Very excited to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm Sanu from Hakuhodo, Indonesia. and I will be guiding you through the fandom journeys of our ASEAN Sei-katsu-sha. Now, allow me to start with the questions: what benefits are most valuable to them? Something that is uniquely from fandom. The first, it's about enjoyment, the instant flow of happiness and excitement. As we all know, life has its ups and downs. And thankfully, for this woman from Vietnam, whenever life goes down, she has her K-pop fandom to keep her up. Her fandom is like an instant remedy, providing her with positive energy in times of need. But there's more to it. Do you know that through fandoms, we can be a better person? Joining a fandom helps Sei-katsu-sha discover hidden talents and sharpen skills that are useful to them. So fandoms improve not just people's mood, but also make them a better people. Take this woman from Malaysia who is a fan of a local artist. At first, she was a shy person, but when she had to fill a vacancy in her fandom community, she discovered that she is a very capable leader. So I think it's wrong to think that having a fandom is just a waste of time. What do you think about this, Eka?
So true, Sanu. Like an investment, we need to make it worth our time.
Right, moving on. By constantly doing things we love, we might pick up new knowledge or be inspired to do new things along the way. Because the more we are involved in something, the better we can be at it. And that is the story with this woman from Vietnam who is into a cat fandom. She gained knowledge creating cat food because of her genuine affections for cats. She became so good at it, she started to sell her homemade cat food. She must have known a lot of cat fans to see the business opportunity, right? That leads me to another fandom benefit, which is about connections. For ASEAN Sei-katsu-sha, togetherness and family-like connections are very important. If they cannot find it in their everyday life, they will try to find it in their fandom. This man from Thailand loves riding motorbikes so much. He started an online group to help others enjoy it as well. And he knows that they might help him out in return someday. For him, friendship really matters. What do you think about this, Eka?
I think sharing happiness is very important for fandom Sei-katsu-sha in ASEAN.
Right. Speaking of sharing, eventually when members have discovered good things in their fandom, such as happiness, wealth, aspirations, connections, and so on, their fandoms becomes integrated into their lives and they find their truest self. Like this man from Indonesia who is into a board game fandom. It started with him needing friends to play with. He started a community which grew into a serious business. He then decided to put his current job in the past and turned his favorite pastime into his future. Now, to sum up the learning from our fandom Sei-katsu-sha in ASEAN, first, fandoms always give a sense of positivity. Second, joining fandoms help people improve themselves as individuals. Lastly, fandoms expand people's social lives and give them a sense of belonging. These are the reasons fandoms are a very popular way for ASEAN Sei-katsu-sha to balance and navigate their lives. And that's all from me. Can't wait to hear more interesting facts because there are still so many things to learn from our Sei-katsu-sha. Right, Eka?
Thank you so much, Sanu, for your in-depth explanation on fandom Sei-katsu-sha. Speaking about learning, all of different fandom out there, my next colleague has a unique way to capture and analyze the Sei-katsu-sha, combining both AI and ethno study. So, Luis, would you like to share your specialty, please?
Thank you, Eka. Hello, I'm Luis, an associate from Hakuhodo Consulting based in Singapore. I'll explain QAI, our new AI solution and its capabilities. What is QAI? It's an AI tool that collects big data and gives us anthropological insight into Sei-katsu-sha's lives. QAI can draw big data from Sei-katsu-sha's social media posts, regardless of whether it is text, image, or video. QAI can then give us insights into emotions that Sei-katsu-sha portray on Twitter, their demographics, and the objects detected in their images. Here's what QAI's object detection looks like. One key strength of this function is that it can be applied indiscriminately regardless of Sei-katsu-sha's culture. What do you think, Eka?
Wow, these are really cool tech features.
Yes, I have even applied QAI to our fandom research. Let me explain in detail. Now, we have applied QAI's functions to this forum. We extracted 91,100 Twitter posts and analyzed the post text and pictures. For this forum, we will showcase the emotion analytics of QAI. So what kind of emotions do Sei-katsu-sha express on Twitter? We have analyzed around 478,000 emotions detected in ASEAN Sei-katsu-sha's Twitter posts. Between ASEAN and Japan, the top emotion detected is different. The top emotion for ASEAN is affiliation at 56.2%, and for Japan is happiness at 47.1%. Focusing on affiliation in ASEAN, what kind of fandom categories reflect affiliation the most? We observed that the top 4 types of fandom for the emotion affiliation are this. QAI can not only analyze big data, but also allows us to see real examples of social media posts. Each of these fandom subjects highlights affiliation, and we are going to see each of them in the next 4 slides in the form of illustrations produced by QAI. Here is a Filipino post that displays affiliation by interacting with other manga fans. The author drew his own fan art and was excited to share it with others. Similarly, here is a Thai fan engaging fellow fans to fangirl together and to make their favorite singer's YouTube video top 1 million views. This is a Thai gamer gathering fellow Thai gaming fans to support their national esports team, emphasizing the Thai sense of belonging. Here, a Malaysian fan organized an event for fellow fans of her K-pop favorite. Through this event, they develop a stronger sense of belonging. This belongingness with fandom community members was also reflected in our qualitative findings. This concludes the sneak peek into QAI. Back to you, Eka.
Thank you so much, Luis, for your amazing explanation on Guild AI. So, in summary, Fandom Sei-katsu-sha in ASEAN, they grow inside their fandoms by journeying and transforming their lives. Sometimes, being in fandom goes deeper than they expected. They find not only excitement but also connections. And last but not least, all of that experience provides more than ordinary fun and positive feelings. There is a deeper meaning and benefits to joining and staying in the fandom for ASEAN fandom people. Gone is the age where we see fans involved in fandom simply participating nonchalantly or just wasting time without putting in any effort. They are actually building a society from within. And we can now measure all of that emotions involved using Guild AI solution. With that summary, I would like to excuse myself and give the floor to my colleague Jed, who will explain more about fandom communities in ASEAN. Thank you so much.